Let's start with the game total. 49.5 is out there, but actually I just saw a 48.5 pop too, minus 115. You got Kansas City's team total 24.5, Philly's team total 23.5. Let's start with the game total. Like I said, which way do you lean right now, over or under?
Yeah, look, I'm going to follow the professionals. We had Ron Rivera on the show last night. He had 31-23, I believe. Kansas City getting that three-peat. Dana Hughes, we just had on earlier in the show, does color work for the Kansas City Chiefs. 31-27. So, generally speaking, the people that follow football very closely, who we uphold throughout the entire week, they're leaning over, and over again. And my gut says the same thing. Now, I don't think the game, like Dana said, earlier on in the program tonight, is going to be in like the mid-30s, like it was a couple of years ago when these two teams first met in the Super Bowl. But I think the over is going to hit. Now, I think you're going to fade that narrative, but these offenses can really score and score at will. It's all about Philadelphia. Can they assert themselves on the ground? If they do, that could actually benefit your underlean. Because you get a whole lot of Saquon Barkley, some Jalen Hurts as well, eating clock, long, demoralizing drives. I think that's exactly what Philadelphia and Sirianni want to achieve. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but I think Kansas City, with the weaponry and the emergence of Xavier Worthy here in the last few weeks, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster's that X factor, maybe Travis Kelce booms again. I think there's going to be points aplenty in this year's Super Bowl, so my lean is the over, and I would still take it at 49.5, and I'd certainly take it at 48.5.
Yeah, for sure, man. See, right now, I don't want to play, and I'm looking at MGM right now, BetMGM, so under money coming in, we got 48.5 actually at BetMGM. Like you said, it was 49.5. There are still some 49s, depending if you want to go over or under. The over 48.5 is minus 115. I got to be honest, I'm going to stay away from the total. If I had to play the total, I would go under in the first half. I looked at a team total under for Philadelphia, maybe 12.5. I like the Eagles in the game, but I think it might be a slow start for Philly against this KC defense and Spags. And then really kind of the same thing for Kansas City against this Vic Fangio defense from the Eagles, who has been my favorite all season long. Team total, first half total, 23.5, minus 105 to the under. I just worry that, like, for Philadelphia, it might be like a little bit of culture shock after what we've seen the first two games of the playoffs. Their last two opponents were the Rams and the Commanders, who, if you're looking at success rate, stopping the run, 25th and 31st. So the Chiefs' defense right now still 6th in rushing success rate allowed this season, including the playoffs. The Eagles' past two opponents, again, the Rams, the Commanders, 25th and 31st. I think Saquon's going to figure some stuff out, obviously, and go off in this game. But we might have some insufficient runs here early on. And then I worry a little bit about Jalen if he's not fully healthy, which he looked much better, ripped the brace off last game, I know. But he didn't really use his legs a whole lot. He was more a pocket passer against the Commanders in that weak secondary. But I worry a little bit against this pass rush, right? Like against the blitz, their third in sack rate. So I might, if I had to play the total, lean under 23.5 in the first half, man. Because once we get to the second half, I think plays are going to be made, and I could see this being an over game.
Yep.
As far as team totals, which way do you lean? Philly 23.5, KC 24.5. Would you go both teams over their team total then if you like the over in the game?
No, actually, I like Philadelphia over 23.5 a ton. That's why I choose the over at minus 135. A team that averaged 28.4 points per game in the regular season. They went over this number 13 times in the regular season. Again, Kansas City has had issues defending and stopping and bottling up the run. So I think Philly's got to have a lot of success. And as long as, the rack of the points via the touchdown, not the field goal kick with Jake Elliott, we're going to talk about him here in a minute. I like the over on that, and I would lean under with Kansas City on 24.5. Originally I was leaning at Kansas City minus 1.5, but I come around completely on your side. I think Philadelphia is going to win this thing, and I think it's going to be like 31-23, 31-24.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Yeah, come to the good side, man. Come to the good side. Although, man, I have not really heard a whole lot of people make the case for the Eagles. We may be screwed going against the three-peat and going against the holy trinity of Mahomes, Spags, and Andy Reid. Oh, and that Kelce guy. All right, like you said, we're going to talk a little special teams here. Usually we do predict the prop, but we've seen these props. We're monitoring these. We're looking at these all day long, this entire prop catalog. So let's do a little special teams edition of Predict the Prop. I'll go first really quick here, man. This isn't like a huge bet, but I kind of like the Eagles' defense or special teams to score an anytime touchdown, 6-1. I'm a big Cooper DeJean guy. Maybe he returns a punt, most likely not. But I like this price, man. 6-1 for Philadelphia. Again, you could get a pick 6 here. Maybe it's Slay. Maybe it's my guy Quinyon. But an anytime touchdown from the defense or the special teams, 6-1. I did take a shot real small with a free bet today over at BetMGM for the Eagles to get on the board defensively or on special teams. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Jake Elliott. I say he hits the over 1.5 field goals made at plus 105. So little baby seduced by the juice. He's done this in 6 of his last 7 games. I mean, he's hit 85.7% of his field goal opportunities in the postseason, much improved compared to 77.8% he hit in the regular season. And you look at Philadelphia as well. They had the 5th lowest TD only red zone success rate. That's a mouthful, but it's something that is tracked there at teamrankings.com. So they're not necessarily punching in with a whole lot of frequency, which means Jake Elliott comes out and boots one through the uprights, not once, but twice. Hell, that could happen in the first half. So I love the over 1.5 field goals made for Elliott at plus 105.
All right, there's a couple different ones I want to play this next one. So I could be boring, which I was, and I went Chiefs just over 1.5 field goals. Harrison Butker for the game, minus 125. Or you could go Chiefs over 1.5 field goals in the first half. Plus 300, 3-1. And it's the Super Bowl. It's the last game of the year, so I'm going to have way too many bets. It's been a nice year, thanks to college football. The Chiefs were 22nd this season, which is kind of hard to believe in red zone offense. 53.8% of the time they cashed in. And I can see them struggling a little bit against this Eagles defense, this Vic Fangio defense that was 5th in the red zone this season, giving up a touchdown on 50% of drives. And then Kansas City, not really all that aggressive on 4th down. We love Andy Reid, but he's not Dan Gamble, right? The Chiefs went for it 17 times on 4th down during the regular season, which was just 26 in the NFL. They only went for it twice in games where Mahomes started the season in situations that were 4th and 1, when in field goal range. They obviously trust Butker. You look at the last 2 postseasons. He's 15 for 15 on field goals in the last 2 postseasons. Eagles have given up 2 or more field goal attempts in the first 3. I kind of like that bet real nicely.